Let me ask you a simple but powerful question. What is your body doing for you while you sleep tonight? Most people think sleep is just rest, but the truth is, while you're asleep, your body is working harder than you realize, especially your kidneys. These small, powerful organs are filtering your blood, removing toxins, balancing fluids, and keeping you alive every single day. And the foods you eat, especially fruits, can either help this process or quietly sabotage it. Today, I want to share something practical, hopeful, and empowering with you. Four simple fruits that can support your kidneys and help them flush out toxins naturally, even while you sleep. Kidney problems don't usually announce themselves loudly. They build silently: fatigue, swelling, high blood pressure, poor sleep. These are often early signs that your kidneys are under stress. Processed foods, excess sugar, dehydration, and constant snacking overload these organs. But here's the good news: your kidneys have an incredible ability to heal and recover when you give them the right environment. Small, consistent choices, especially at night, can make a real difference. Most people don't realize there is a quiet problem happening inside their bodies every single day because it doesn't cause pain at first and it doesn't show up overnight. It builds slowly, silently, and politely, which makes it far more dangerous. The problem is not your kidneys failing suddenly. The problem is that your kidneys are being overworked constantly, hour after hour, day after day, without rest. And the reason this happens is deeply connected to how often we eat, what we eat, and how little space we give our bodies to recover. Your kidneys are filters. That's their job. Every minute they are cleaning your blood, removing waste, balancing minerals, and regulating fluid levels. They are incredibly intelligent organs, but they were not designed to be under nonstop pressure. In the modern world, we eat from morning until late at night. Snacks, sweet drinks, refined carbohydrates, and hidden sugars keep insulin levels high all day long. When insulin stays high, the kidneys are forced to retain sodium, hold on to water, and work harder to maintain balance. This constant stimulation is not normal physiology, it is chronic stress. What makes this problem invisible is that people often think kidney issues only belong to people with advanced disease. They think my lab tests are fine, or I don't have symptoms, so everything must be okay. But biology doesn't work that way. Damage accumulates long before symptoms appear. Just like rust forming under paint, kidney stress develops quietly. By the time swelling, fatigue, or high blood pressure show up, the system has already been struggling for years. Another overlooked factor is nighttime digestion. Your body is meant to repair itself during sleep. Hormones shift, inflammation goes down, and detoxification processes increase. But if you go to bed with high blood sugar, high insulin, and a full digestive workload, the kidneys never get a break. Instead of filtering gently and efficiently, they are forced to deal with excess glucose, excess sodium, and metabolic waste. This is not because the kidneys are weak, but because we are asking them to do too much at the wrong time. Many people also believe that healthy snacks are always harmless. Fruit juices, smoothies, sweetened yogurt, and energy bars are often consumed late in the day under the assumption that they are natural and therefore safe. But timing matters. Even natural sugars trigger insulin. When consumed late at night, they prolong the metabolic workload and prevent the kidneys from entering their repair mode. The issue is not fruit itself, but how, when, and how much it is consumed. Dehydration plays a major role as well. People drink coffee, tea, or sweet beverages during the day, but very little plain water. The kidneys depend on adequate hydration to flush toxins efficiently. Without enough water, toxins become concentrated and filtration becomes harder. Over time, this contributes to inflammation and stone formation. Yet many people avoid drinking water in the evening because they fear waking up at night, unknowingly creating more stress for their kidneys in the long run. There is also the misconception that kidney damage is inevitable with age. This belief is incredibly harmful because it removes responsibility and hope. Aging does not destroy kidneys, chronic metabolic stress does. Traditional cultures that ate whole foods, fasted naturally between meals, and respected circadian rhythms had far fewer kidney problems. The rise in kidney disease parallels the rise in ultra processed food, constant eating, and sugar exposure. What makes this problem especially important is that kidneys influence almost every system in the body. When kidneys are stressed, blood pressure rises. When blood pressure rises, the heart works harder. When toxins accumulate, inflammation increases. When inflammation increases, insulin resistance worsens. This creates a vicious cycle that slowly pulls the body away from health. And yet, because this process is gradual, people normalize feeling tired, bloated, foggy, or unwell. The tragedy is that none of this is necessary. The kidneys are resilient. They respond quickly when the burden is reduced, giving them periods of rest, lowering insulin exposure, improving hydration, and choosing foods that assist detoxification instead of blocking it can change the entire trajectory of kidney health. But the first step is awareness. You cannot fix what you do not see. Once you understand that your kidneys are not failing you, but rather adapting to constant overload, your perspective changes. You stop blaming your body and start supporting it. You begin to see food not as entertainment or comfort, but as information. Every bite sends a signal, either telling your kidneys to work harder or allowing them to recover. This quiet conversation between your choices and your organs is happening every day, especially at night when your body is meant to heal rather than struggle. When kidney stress continues day after day, it doesn't stay confined to the kidneys. The effects ripple outward and quietly reshape how you feel, how you function, and how you age. This is why so many people wake up feeling tired even after a full night's sleep, why their rings feel tighter in the morning, why their blood pressure slowly creeps upward, and why they feel foggy or heavy for no clear reason. These are not random problems. They are signals. They are the body's way of saying that its internal filtering system is under strain. One of the first areas affected is energy. Healthy kidneys help regulate electrolytes and remove metabolic waste efficiently. When this process slows, waste products linger in the bloodstream longer than they should. The brain is extremely sensitive to this. Even slight increases in circulating toxins can reduce mental clarity and motivation. People often describe this as brain fog or unexplained fatigue. They assume it's stress or aging, but in reality, the body is carrying a heavier toxic load than it was designed to handle. Fluid balance is another major issue. Insulin resistance and constant sugar intake signal the kidneys to retain sodium. Sodium pulls water with it. This is why people notice puffiness in the face, swelling in the ankles, or rapid weight fluctuations that have nothing to do with fat gain. Over time, this fluid retention raises blood pressure. High blood pressure then damages the delicate filtering units inside the kidneys, further reducing their efficiency. It becomes a self reinforcing loop that can persist for years without diagnosis. Sleep quality also suffers. When kidneys are overworked, the body struggles to maintain proper nighttime detoxification. Hormones that should calm the nervous system remain elevated. Cortisol stays higher than it should, and melatonin production can be disrupted. This leads to lighter, fragmented sleep. People may fall asleep but wake up frequently or wake too early without feeling refreshed. Poor sleep then worsens insulin resistance the following day, placing even more pressure on the kidneys. Again, the cycle tightens. Digestive health is closely linked as well. When waste removal is impaired, the liver and gut are forced to compensate. This can lead to bloating, constipation, or irregular bowel movements. The gut microbiome shifts toward a more inflammatory profile, increasing toxin production instead of reducing it. Many people respond by eating more frequently to boost energy, which unfortunately adds to the metabolic burden rather than relieving it. Long-term health consequences develop quietly but steadily. Chronic kidney stress accelerates vascular damage, blood vessels lose flexibility, increasing the risk of heart disease and stroke. Insulin resistance deepens, making blood sugar harder to control and increasing the likelihood of type 2 diabetes. Bone health can decline as mineral balance becomes harder to regulate. Even immune function weakens because the body is constantly managing low-grade inflammation instead of focusing on defense and repair. What makes this especially concerning is how normalized these symptoms have become. Fatigue is considered normal. Swelling is blamed on salt or heat. High blood pressure is treated as an isolated condition rather than a sign of systemic imbalance. Medications may control numbers, but they do not remove the underlying stress on the kidneys. Without addressing the root cause, the body continues to drift further from optimal health. Daily life becomes subtly constrained. People avoid physical activity because they feel tired. They rely on caffeine to function. They snack late at night because their energy is unstable. Each of these behaviors is an attempt to cope with symptoms, not solve the problem. Over years, this erodes confidence and creates the belief that decline is inevitable, but it is not. The kidneys are remarkably responsive when conditions improve. Even modest reductions in insulin exposure can lower sodium retention and reduce blood pressure. Better hydration dilutes toxins and improves filtration efficiency. Allowing longer gaps between meals gives the kidneys time to reset their workload. When nighttime digestion is reduced, sleep quality improves, which then restores hormonal balance the next day. This is why understanding the daily and long term impact of kidney stress is so important. It reframes health not as a collection of separate issues, but as a connected system. When kidneys struggle, the entire body feels it. When kidneys are supported, improvements cascade outward. Energy stabilizes, swelling decreases, sleep deepens, blood pressure becomes easier to manage, the body regains its natural rhythm. The most powerful realization is that these changes do not require extreme measures. They require awareness, consistency, and respect for how the body is designed to function. When you stop fighting your biology and start working with, health becomes simpler. The body wants to heal. It is always moving toward balance. It just needs the pressure to be reduced so it can do what it has always known how to do. Once you clearly understand the problem and recognize how deeply it affects daily life and long term health, the next step becomes surprisingly simple. Healing does not begin with complex medical interventions or extreme dietary rules. It begins with reducing the burden on the kidneys and creating an environment where they can do their job efficiently. The body is not broken, it is overworked. And when you remove the excess pressure, recovery follows naturally. One of the most powerful solutions is timing. When you eat matters just as much as what you eat. The kidneys, like every organ, follow a circadian rhythm. At night, they are meant to work gently, filtering and repairing rather than aggressively processing excess nutrients. Eating heavy meals late in the evening forces the kidneys into overtime. By finishing dinner earlier and keeping the evening light, you allow insulin levels to fall and give the kidneys a chance to reset. This single change can dramatically improve nighttime detoxification and sleep quality. Food quality is the next key. Highly processed foods create a toxic load that the kidneys must eliminate. Artificial additives, excess sodium, refined sugars, and industrial oils all increase filtration stress. In contrast, whole foods communicate safety to the body. They are recognized, processed efficiently, and leave behind less waste. This is why simple, natural foods consistently outperform complex health products. The kidneys thrive on simplicity. Fruits, when chosen wisely and eaten in moderation, play a special role. Certain fruits contain natural compounds that support detoxification, reduce inflammation, and improve hydration without overwhelming insulin. ELP bind waste products in the bloodstream. Berries provide antioxidants that protect kidney tissue from oxidative damage. Grapes improve circulation and reduce inflammatory stress. Water rich fruits support gentle flushing of toxins. The key is portion control and timing. A small serving earlier in the evening supports healing. Large quantities late at night do the opposite. Hydration is often misunderstood. Drinking water is not about flooding the body, but about consistency. When water intake is too low, toxins become concentrated, making the kidneys work harder. When intake is steady throughout the day, filtration becomes efficient and effortless. This reduces inflammation and prevents stone formation. Evening hydration should be balanced, not avoided entirely. Small amounts of water support nighttime detoxification without disrupting sleep. Another critical solution is reducing constant eating. The kidneys benefit from periods of metabolic rest, just like muscles benefit from rest between workouts. When food intake is continuous, insulin never drops, and sodium retention remains high. Introducing natural fasting windows, even short ones, allows insulin levels to fall and kidney pressure to decrease. This does not require deprivation, it requires structure. Eating fewer times with intention is often more powerful than eating healthy. Foods all day long, sleep itself becomes a healing tool when these changes are in place. Deep sleep enhances hormone regulation, reduces cortisol, and improves kidney blood flow. This creates a positive feedback loop. Better sleep improves insulin sensitivity. Improved insulin sensitivity reduces kidney stress. Reduced kidney stress improves sleep quality further. The body begins to repair itself automatically. Practical steps matter because they turn theory into action. Eating dinner 2 to 3 hours before bed, choosing whole foods over packaged ones, limiting nighttime snacking, including kidney supportive fruits in appropriate amounts, drinking water consistently during the day. These are not dramatic changes, but they are powerful when repeated daily. Consistency is what transforms these habits into healing. The kidneys respond quickly, but long term resilience comes from repetition. One healthy day is helpful, a healthy pattern is life changing. Over time, blood pressure stabilizes, swelling decreases, energy returns, sleep deepens. These changes reinforce motivation because the body begins to feel safe again. The most important mindset shift is understanding that health is not something you force, it is something you allow. When you stop overwhelming your system, the body does the rest. The kidneys are not asking for perfection, they are asking for relief. And relief comes from alignment with natural rhythms, simple foods, and respectful timing. This approach removes fear. Instead of worrying about disease, you focus on daily support. Instead of chasing symptoms, you build foundations. This creates confidence because you are no longer dependent on willpower alone. You are working with biology, not against it. When people experience this shift, they often say the same thing: I didn't realize how much better I could feel. That realization is powerful. T turns health from an abstract goal into a lived experience. And once you feel that difference, protecting your kidneys becomes a natural priority, not a forced discipline. True healing is quiet. It doesn't announce itself dramatically. It shows up as steady energy, restful sleep, and a body that feels lighter and more balanced. When you reduce the load and support the system consistently, the kidneys respond with resilience, efficiency, and renewal. That is how simple choices practiced daily lead to lasting health without strain or struggle. The most powerful transformation in health does not come from knowing more facts, but from changing how you see your body. Many people live in a constant state of conflict with their biology. They push harder when they feel tired, restrict aggressively when they gain weight, and blame themselves when their health numbers worsen. This mindset creates stress, and stress always worsens kidney function. What truly changes outcomes is a shift from control to cooperation, from forcing results to supporting processes. Your body is not lazy, and it is not working against you. Every adaptation it makes is a survival response. When the kidneys retain fluid, it is because insulin and stress hormones are telling them that resources are scarce or danger is near. When blood pressure rises, it is because the system is trying to maintain circulation under metabolic strain. These are not failures, they are intelligent responses to an unhealthy environment. Once you understand this, guilt disappears and responsibility becomes empowering instead of heavy. Lasting kidney health depends on habits that feel sustainable, not heroic. Extreme changes may create short term improvements, but they often fail because they rely on constant willpower. Willpower is limited, biology is not. When habits align with how the body naturally functions, they are acquire less effort over time. Eating earlier, simplifying food choices, reducing unnecessary snacks, and respecting sleep rhythms eventually feel normal, not restrictive. One of the most underestimated factors in long term success is emotional consistency. Stress hormones directly affect kidney blood flow and sodium retention. A life lived in constant urgency keeps cortisol elevated, which worsens insulin resistance and kidney strain. This is why people can eat well and still struggle if they never slow down. Calm is not a luxury, it is a physiological requirement for healing. Slowing meals, breathing deeply, and creating predictable routines signal safety to the nervous system, which then allows the kidneys to function efficiently. Another critical element is patience. Kidneys heal gradually. The damage that develops over years does not reverse in days. Early improvements often appear as better sleep or reduced bloating before lab values change. These subtle signs matter. They indicate that internal balance is improving. When people expect instant results, they often abandon the very habits that would have worked given enough time. Trusting the process is part of the healing itself. Consistency also protects against fear. Many people worry constantly about disease because they feel out of control. When daily habits are aligned with kidney health, fear loses its grip. You are no longer hoping things will improve. You are actively creating the conditions for improvement. This sense of agency lowers stress, which further benefits kidney function. Health becomes something you participate in rather than something you wait for. Social and environmental influences play a role as well. Eating late at night is often a social habit, not a biological need. Snacking is often emotional, not physical. Recognizing this without judgment allows change without resistance. You beggy to ask better questions, such as whether food is solving a problem or distracting from one. This awareness naturally reduces unnecessary eating and lightens the metabolic load on the kidneys. Over time, these changes reshape identity. You stop seeing yourself as someone trying to be healthy and start seeing yourself as someone who respects their body. This identity shift is powerful because behavior follows identity. When kidney supportive choices become part of who you are, they no longer feel optional or forced. They simply happen. What often surprises people is how these habits spread into other areas of life. Better sleep improves decision making. Stable energy reduces cravings. Clearer thinking improves stress management. Kidney health becomes a foundation rather than an isolated goal. The body operates more smoothly, and life feels less like a constant battle against fatigue or discomfort. There is also a deeper lesson here. The kidneys teach us that health is about balance, not excess. Too much food, too much stress, too much stimulation, and too little rest all create the same outcome: overload. When you learn to remove excess rather than constantly add solutions, healing accelerates. Simplicity becomes a strategy. Ultimately, long term kidney health is not built on fear of disease, but on respect for design. The human body evolved to handle periods of eating and periods of rest, activity and recovery, stimulation and calm. When those rhythms are restored, organs function as they were meant to. The kidneys respond with efficiency and resilience, quietly doing their work in the background, supporting every system without asking for attention, as long as the environment allows them to do so. Tonight, before you sleep, remember this: small choices create powerful healing. Choose one fruit, build one habit. Support your kidneys and let your body do what it was designed to do. Your health is not in the future, it starts tonight.